So we'll get back to basketball. Did a lot of things really well. It was a nice game to I think get a little glimpse of what we can be at different times. We're still without. We're basically Trey's been on the mend and hasn't practiced a lot, and Draven was out. For the most part, he just gutted it up to get through it. But 21 assists, 6 turnovers. We played at a very comfortable pace. Obviously, things get very clouded when you make shots. So it's like the game when you miss them all. It's never as bad as it is. It's never as good as it is. But we did make shots, and I thought we had a great game reading what the defense gave us and taking advantage of those opportunities. And this game was a game where they worked very hard and diligently to take away threes, and we found the paint and found it wide open. And again, that's a lot the Tommy factor. Him 5 for 5 in the first half and stepping out. But I think the most important thing was we followed our game plan defensively. We made it very tough on Dawson. I think he's 1 or 2 in the league in scoring, holding him to 12. A couple great challenges, block shots at the rim by Tommy. And then, we were going to let Femi, shoot a bunch of balls, and he did. He made some, but I thought it was very important to not allow their 2 guards and Dawson to get going from 3. So didn't turn it over. Guarded with some purpose, and I thought our energy was really good. Now it's UCLA, the team that has seen really kind of a couple extremes in the Big Ten. 4-game losing streak. Now they're on a 7-game winning streak. Very talented. A typical, most fans don't know, but this is a typical MIC team. Going to guard, I think they're 1 or 2 in the country in turnovers. I think they had 24 points off turnovers in their last game against Penn State. They won that battle 24-0. The Johnson kid is one of the elite defenders. I think Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year last year. Sky and Dylan do a great job defensively and on the perimeter. They're very handsy. They'll press a little bit, and then they've got some very good front court scoring guys. So a very good team. Will have to play well. They're playing exceptionally well, and hopefully it's a game where we can match the energy that they bring and continue to play well.
What are some signs you want to see that your team's doing the right things in terms of taking care of the ball, decision making? What do they take away as far as that goes, and what would be the sign to you that you're handling that?
I made a comment today to one of our guys, and Mick worked for Hugs, and Hugs had a saying that we heard 100 times a day in practice: get to the ball, just get to the ball. And this team gets to the ball. They're handsy, they block shots, they challenge all drives, and they do it with anticipation. They swarm you when you get to the paint, and you've got to be ball tough, and you've got to make the right reads, and they're good that way. They're full court press. They'll run and jump. They force teams into just some mental turnovers, but it's for us. It's just simply taking care of the basketball. We've got a lot of ball handlers on our team. We're a good passing team, and it's just throwing it to the guys in our jersey and being ball tough.
What's the status of Trey and Dre, and then Kylan didn't play for the final 11 minutes? Where's he at, and how's he doing?
Those guys were fine as of yesterday. They met with the doc yesterday, so they're cleared for practice today. Bam just, for whatever reason, had a kind of I'm going to use the word cramp, but it was not more. It was a little different than that in his calf. Could have come back in, but there was no need for him to do that at that point.
And a follow-up, how's Tommy post playing a game with the Cabernet grape ankle?
It's still very swollen. It's still, he'll be reduced today in terms of his workup. Today is actually a very, very heavy class day for him. So we have, it's not where we're out of school and he can go live in the training room for 6 hours in the morning and get all the swelling. He's actually had, I think he's got 3 or 4 classes today. So the first, our trainers will actually see him will be right before practice. So we'll really limit what he does today in practice, just so they can work on it and keep it in, get it back to where it's hopefully playable. But it was very swollen after the game. Tommy's one of the toughest dudes I've been around.
Ben, 4 assists in Minnesota, and he did it several different ways, some out of post-ups. Just what does that maybe bring the offense when he can also be a facilitator?
Yeah, you can never have too many. I like the way he's getting them. He's stressing the defense with those booty ball options and post ups and getting it there. With some comfort, and he's he's a guy who's very high IQ. He can read the defense, and it's one of the things that it's nice to see. He's getting comfortable doing that.
Have you seen an impact on KJ just kind of breaking out of his recent struggles as far as confidence or just a release of pressure, whatever that might be?
Yeah, I think he's. I think we had some conversations coming back after the Rutgers game, and again, I think it's a tribute to him, who he is, because he cares so much, and he's 18 years old, and we've got he's 18, will turn 19 today. You start looking at the youth, and they're babies in a lot of ways, and so. He internalizes a lot, and I think just some of the conversations we had, you pair that with Tommy helping, and those two are very, very connected, and I think we saw a guy that could, was pretty special.
Coach, I know you're focused on UCLA, obviously, but the schedule down the stretch, pretty challenging. 5 ranked opponents, 3 in the top 10. Do you have an eye on the net and the NCAA tournament and seeding and all that stuff?
Sure, I watch the net every day. That's all I care about. But great opportunities, all of those. It's what we've signed up for. It's great challenges. I don't think anybody on our team is there's a reason you play the schedule we play. So you get prepared for those moments. They all present different challenges. They're all really good. You got to keep growing in those moments, and there'll be some good things. There'll be some bad things, and we got to hope there's more good than bad. And but I love the opportunity. I think every single player in our program came to this program because they want to play in games that are meaningful and against the best. And we've recruited them under those premises, and we're holding up our end of the bargain because they're all good. Welcome to the Big Ten and Duke.
Fred, you obviously know Sky's game very well. How has he grown and evolved, and what have you seen that he brings to them?
I think he's become what we thought he would become when he was here. He's just, he's an older man, an old guy now. mature. He's a guy that makes open shots. We all know that he's special athletically. You can go on YouTube and figure that out. I think he's turned into an ultra solid defender. I think he's tough on the ball. I think he sees things. He's always had a really good IQ, and I think he just fits perfectly with Mick. You know, great kid, and you know, really happy for his successes and what he's done. And he's just, you know, he's turned into a really good college basketball player.
So we should ask about Kofi, since he's going to be back. Just what role did he play in maybe getting the program to where it is now?
Probably as significant as he is large. Huge. I mean, he is, he was just different. You know, Kofi was just different. You know, you hate to pinpoint one person or one thing. I'll never forget that day. We lose to Florida Atlantic, and he commits. And it was fun to coach him. It was fun to help mold him. It was fun to challenge him. It was fun to watch him compete. And there's not ever a bad memory with Kofi. I have none. It's unique because he had great personality, great smile, great charisma, and you know, it's whether it was the monster rebounds, the rim rattling dunks, the matchups with Luka Garza, you know, it was. I couldn't be prouder of him and what he did in his time here. It was really special, and was always a really good teammate, and loved this place. And that was very deserving that he's got his jersey number and it's hanging in the rafters at a place where only the great ones belong. And he was a great one.
Right, has it gotten past the stage of being awkward or any kind of shock value? You see Luke Goody in Indiana uniform, you watch Sky on tape, you might tune on your alma mater and there's a player you're familiar with on that roster. Does it get past that, or is it something you just gotta work through?
Oh, it's past that with me when they walk out the door. And I've 100% accepted the fact that that's our world. And it's going to be more and more frequent. So why in the world would I worry about somebody? I love it. When you're a part of our family, you don't go away. Luke, Coleman, Sky, and I love them to death. They impacted us in a way that we knew what we were doing recruiting them. And I just watched the game the other day and forgot that Ben's still playing, all while getting his law degree. Love that. And I've never lost perspective on what our job is as coaches, help young boys become men. And sometimes decisions get made that we don't necessarily like or care about, but it's not venom and hate and you just, you shit can them because they're not wearing your jersey. No. They're part of our family, and you want them to go see and be successful and dap Luke up and talk before the game. I've texted Coleman about not following through on a free throw. You just feel like they're part of your family, and they always are, and nothing but great joy. I always remember, Sky and how good he was in the UCLA game, and the positive things and the stuff you go through. So I look at it completely different than most. I know I'm weird. My wife tells me that every day. So, but it's just, that's the way I look at it. They're part of our family. They're still part of the extended family. I just don't get to coach them every day. So when the game comes around, and the game comes around, and you gotta play against one, then the competitive side comes in, they're trying to kick my butt, I'm trying to kick theirs, and that's just natural.
Some bad luck over the last month or so, and you talk about the importance of getting whole. Do you feel like you're getting closer to that? And was Minnesota a turning point where you're going to start to see consistent performances?
I wish I could read the crystal ball, I hope so. I like what we did. I've said it since day one, I love this team's ceiling. I love where we can go and what we can be. There's growth, there's been hardship, there's been hard times, that's okay. Because as long as we approach it, there's growth out of that. And I think we've seen that. I hope the flu bugs run through us, I hope we don't get injured anymore. It's all part of it, I guess. And it's part of the plan for this team. So we'll just keep getting better, we'll keep fighting, and you know, a lot of I still think not even close, our best basketball still in front of us.
Talked about Tommy's toughness a lot. I'm just curious if there's any point in getting to know him that you remember thinking like, okay, this guy kind of got that element to him.
There's a maturity about him that I always liked. I think that you don't know truly people until they go through adversity, until they're facing it, and you know, it's very easy to quit, it's very easy to walk away, it's very easy to just shelf it. It's very hard to think about others when you're going through it, and Tommy's done that. And you know, the ankle's ugly. I mean, it hurts, and I mean, you've sprained your ankle, you know what that pain feels like. And to think about others and his teammates and how important that is, and man, that's pretty special. There's a lot of maturity with those decisions.
This will be our last one here.
What have you thought of what Kofi's done post-Illinois? Just Japan, 2 years in Korea.
As long as Kofi is happy, I'm happy. I think it's really simple. I think his journey's been great. I think that's he seems really happy. He seems to be playing great. He's always going to be dominant. You know, and I think that's what the next steps are for him, to be determined. But I think that Kofi's going to play basketball as long as he's healthy and as long as he wants to, and that's truly a gift. And he'll always be one of the more special talents, but also human beings that I've been around. And I mean, you all got to know Kofi. I mean, there's nobody who didn't fall in love with Kofi. And so, you know, all you want and all we can ask for as a coach is they find success that makes them happy, and it's a passion, and they get to live their best life, so to speak. And Kofi seems to be doing that. He's bought his mom a house in Texas, and he's been blessed to be able to go do that. That was from day one. That's all Kofi said he wanted to do, buy his mom a house. And to get to achieve those things that mean a lot to him, I'm never going to be one to judge anybody else's happiness, and Kofi seems like he is extremely happy. So I'm 100% in his corner, and he knows all he's ever got to do with me is pick up the phone, and anything he needs, he gets.
Okay, thank you.